7 packs have tried, and 7 packs have failed. But on this season finale of Loveshack TCG's first ever original series pack in review, one of the most incredible packs in the past 5 years, a pack that brought forth decks such as Windups, Inzectors, and I'm pretty sure Zexal weapons. Order of Chaos. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Order of Chaos in the season finale of Pack in Review. Alright, so unfortunately my movie trailer voice is not what I'd like it to be, but I hope everyone was able to pretend that I sounded as epic as I thought I did in my own mind. Welcome to the season finale of Pack in Review. Now, we've done 7 packs so far, and no pack has performed higher than 60. I feel like that is worth mentioning. Actually, I had a viewer, or reader, or watcher, or whatever the hell you want to call it, on Reddit, point out to me that in my Shadow Spectres review, I actually made a serious miscalculation, which caused the grade to come out at a 53 instead of a 60, as it should have been. So, that is still an E grade in my book. However, it does make a significant difference, because in the future, when we be comparing all these things, the pack did perform better than any other pack thus far. Now, in the previous episode, I reviewed Force of the Breaker, which is a really cool set. Of course, it didn't perform that well. I think Order of Chaos definitely has the potential to do really well. There are some packs that have just been, people have been clamoring for reviews for, such as Duelist Revolution, Legacy of Darkness, Invasion of Chaos. Order of Chaos was one as well. Unfortunately, some of those packs, Starstrike Blast 2, are a little expensive, and because I've been kind of doing this season in mishmash, just kind of picking different things and seeing what sticks, and I've actually started planning things out for the second season. I didn't want to do Duelist Revolution, Starstrike Blast. I'm hoping to do both of those in Season 2. I haven't confirmed that yet, but it's more or less definitely going to happen, I hope. The only one I'm actually having some kind of issue getting is Starstrike Blast, and I think the guy that I'm in contact with to try to get it is actually going to be able to work with me to help me out. So this is a bit of a teaser too, because I'm going to be doing this in a different setting. I'm not going to be doing it in the studio anymore. We're going to be changing up the look, kind of make it stand out a little bit. You see this Atlantean playmat here. This is autographed by multiple different people from YCS Providence that I went to a couple of years back. This is not by any means the finished product. I'm looking into being able to add borders and stuff in the next season, but everyone has been really awesome and really supportive, and it's been really cool to see this start to take off. I'm having a ton of fun doing it, so hopefully we'll get some better packs in the second season. But Order of Chaos is one that people were requesting, and it is really good pack too. It's a very, very awesome pack, so hopefully it'll do well. And another thing too that I should mention real quick, because I'm already 3 minutes in, but it is the season finale, so whatever, it might be a little bit longer than some of the other ones, is that I'm going to be changing the review system completely. So right now we do it on 3 things: history, meta, price. That's going out the window. We're introducing a brand new review system with the second season. We're going to be doing it on 5 different categories, and I'll have more details on that once it's all finalized. And because I just think that this has been a learning process for all of us, and I've been trying to take everyone's criticism and make it better, that's how we're going to do it. So we're going to change it up. We're going to do out of 5, and when I actually get everything all finalized, I will update all of these previous packs using that new system, maybe in just one straight video, just kind of be like, alright, we'll go through and talk about these things briefly. So I've wasted so much time already with the intro, so bear with me, guys. I'm just kind of excited to get to work on the second season, and I'm thinking it's going to be a lot better, and we've been picking up subscribers and views, and it's a lot of fun, and it's awesome, and I'm just talking, and everyone's probably getting bored at this point. Like, do something. So Order of Chaos, here we go. I got a blister of it. Really cool. This is not the actual blister that it normally came in. I got this at Toys R Us. I just picked up one blister, but it's weird. I guess it's a repack, it looks like. It is an unlimited edition pack, but I know for sure it did not look like that originally. The Order of Chaos one had like the black and white or whatever it was, the hives on the outside. So for the sake of continuity and resolving this season, we are going to review on the 3 things that I talked about. We'll start with history, we'll go to meta, price, then we'll go to meta, we'll give it a final grade, and we'll figure out just how well this set has done in comparison to the others. And again, we'll be introducing a totally new review format in the next season, so it should be a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll be doing more than 1 pack per opening as well. That's another thing. So let's begin with history. Historically, this set was one of the most hyped sets ever. When it came out, I was extremely excited. I think most of the player base was. This set was going to be revolutionary. It had wind-ups. It had the good wind-ups, I should say. Wind-ups did start in Generation Force, but this was the set that really started to introduce wind-up Rat, wind-up Shark, stuff like that. Zen Mighty was in this as well. It had Inzektor Hornet. It had other Inzektor cards, which is really cool as well. It actually introduced the Inzektor archetype as a whole, and they were super hyped because in Japan they had already started to see play, so when they put it all together and they were like, oh, it's here, that's what everybody was just ready for, Inzektors, and they hit hard. Inzektor Hornet, when it came out, was extremely high priced. The deck had plenty of hype as well. So, I mean, historically, the set was really cool. Stuff like I said, Wind Up Rat, Wind Up Shark. I remember being at the pre-release and people were asking $30-$35 per for these cards because wind-ups were going to be game-changing. And they were. They had the Wind Up Hunter Loop and the Wind Up Shark and Wind Up Zen Mighty and stuff, and when that all came out, it ended up being just seriously a deck that I hated playing against personally, because if they Wind Up Huntered and got rid of your whole hand with Shark and Zen Mighty, you were pissed. You had no chance to do anything. But unfortunately, windups didn't have the consistency that they seemed to later develop. Actually, they started to become a better deck after their initial hits on the ban list, which is another topic for another day. But it's definitely something interesting to look at. And historically too, it had Utopia Ray. Some people don't like it, some people do. I think the Ghost Rare card of Utopia Ray is one of the coolest looking cards in the game. But I mean, you can't deny the historicalness of that because first Chaos succeed we ever got. And there's a shit ton of them now, but this was like the first one, and it was a game winner. I mean, you would put it in your extra deck still because it could reduce your opponent's monster down to 0, and you could make that swing for 4,000. There was a lot of practical uses for it back then, even if it's not as amazing now as some people may have thought it was when it first came out. But from a historical perspective, it also had Torbus from the Underworld, which was teased for almost a month, and everyone wanted to know what it would do. And this was when Tour Guide of the Underworld was still $100 plus, and Torbus wasn't quite what everyone thought it was going to be, but it was still a really high money card when it first came out, and it was an awesome card. I remember I pulled one actually out of just a couple of packs when I first started buying this set. So it's definitely neat. It's definitely an interesting trip down memory lane. But historically, at the time that it came out, this pack had more hype than almost any other pack in the game. It was extremely relevant. It still has a lot of cards to see play. Xyz Reborn was really hyped. There was Ninjas. The playmats are freaking epic that come with this. Try to put a picture in there if I can. If there's not one there, don't judge me, but see if I can find one. I love the yellow and black Order of Chaos playmat. So historically, honestly, guys, I think this is going to be the first set historically that I give, I'm going to go with 4 out of 5. And I really don't want to give it a 5 out of 5 just because obviously there are some sets that are just on a completely different level, but it was a really relevant set, especially once Xyz started in this Exil generation. Even if it's not now what it was when it first came out, there was so many cards that were just absolutely fantastic. Wind Up Rat, Wind Up Shark, Wind Up Zen Mighty, Torbus from the Underworld, Xyz Reborn, Inzektor Hornet, Inzektor Gigamantis, and I could go on and name even more cards from this set. It's definitely a historically relevant set, especially for its time and for what it contributed to its time. With that said, 4 out of 5. That's my history score for this, which is the highest I've ever given to anyone, but when you seriously look at it in retrospect, it was like the beginning of what changed the game. And Photon Shockwave had the Evil Czars and stuff, which was cool. This kind of took everything and was just like whoosh, and completely changed the way we play the game. So let's move on to price. Taking a look at the prices now, some people did mention as well that they don't prefer average prices. Some people like lower prices. I go by average. Even when I'm trading in real life, I go by average because, you know, someone could lowball trying to make a sale on eBay or something, and someone could overprice something. So, I mean, average is the best way to go, especially when you go by the way things are sold. So I'm probably going to stay with that system as far as price determinants go, just because TCG Player Average is generally the best system to use. I mean, for example, the number one card in this set right now that's worth money is MX Saber Invoker. The average price is $23.77. The lowest one you can buy right now is $20.78. So I'm not going to sit there and do that for every card in the set price-wise, but I'm just trying to compare that. I mean, there's some on here that are listed as high as $35, and then there's some that are listed as low as 21. I'm just gonna round it up. So 24 is not a bad average price, especially not when you look at most of the things that you can buy. Some people that may disagree with average, I'm gonna use it. I think it's a really good system. The next most expensive card would be Wind Up Arsenals in Mayo, which is about $20, and it's cool because he's playing artifacts and stuff. It can do all sorts of combo plays. That card's gone up and down, and it's seen play, and anytime anything rank 5 comes out, it's like, oh boy, we gotta get this. But it's definitely a cool card. It's definitely a worthwhile card as well. Xyz Reborn's closer to $10-15, but Evil Swarm's played it for a while. It's definitely a trap because it's secret rare. It hasn't been reprinted. That has, you know, plenty of hype around it. That has the potential to go up or down or left or right or anywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it was on a $30 card again someday in the future, assuming that Xyz still continue to get stuff. You got cards like Inzektor Exabeetle, White Dragon Ninja that are both around $7. Definitely cool cards. Maybe not as practical as they once were, but to say that it's not, you know, a decent profit margin, there was a time when this pack had at least 10 cards that were worth $10 or more, and it's constantly you'll see it with stuff like Inzektor Gigamantis. Evil Czar Solda went up for a while when that new trap card came out in Primal Origins, the Evo Singularity, I think it was. I could be wrong on that. Maybe it has a different name. But whatever the trap is, that you take 2 Evil Czars and you special summon them from the graveyard, and then you overlay an Exceed on top of them. Solda went up for a while. You've got Wind Up Carriers and Mighty, which isn't worth too much right now, but were it to come off the list, I could definitely see it seeing a rise in price. And I believe Japan has gotten it back, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's accurate. And price-wise right now, it's still a pretty decent set. There's a ton of cards that I'm looking at here as I scroll through real-time pricing that I would definitely not be upset to pull. It doesn't have a real big money card anymore, but it definitely did. Inzektor Hornet was $40, Wind Up Rat was $30, Shark was $20, and all this stuff fluctuated. But I'm saying, overall, it's retained its price really well. MX Saber Invoker, when Matt Alshay were a big, you know, oncoming threat to the meta, that thing went up, and it's still high now, although not what it once was. Price-wise, it's a pretty cool set. It's middle of the road, definitely not bad, but obviously it could be better. Price-wise, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it, for the first time actually, I don't think I've done this at all, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. So, because like I said, it's literally a middle of the road style set. I mean, you have, you know, some sets that have a couple of really big money cards, like Legacy of the Valiant, and then you have some sets that are very range but don't have anything super high. So this is definitely in the middle for me. And so we have 4 out of 5 for history, 2.5 out of 5 for price. And with that, we move on to the final category, which is meta. And this looks like it's probably going to end up being the longest pack and review video that we've done so far, which is only fitting because it's season finale. And I know I spent a lot of time talking, but I hope you guys were able to sit through it, especially because I'm just trying to take the advice and criticisms of everyone else and use it to make a better program for everybody. So hopefully everyone sat through that and whatnot. And as we get to meta here, there's still a ton of cards that we even just talked about that are like still relevant. I mean, Inzektors were amazing. They got hit. They were still amazing. They won Worlds. They faded into obscurity for a while. Then they started to see more play. Then cards like Soul Charge came out and they started to place higher. And it's gone up and down. But I mean, to say that Inzektors are not a deck that can just explode and completely pose a threat to like almost any meta level deck is just naive. It's a great deck. I don't like it personally. I find it degenerate, and there's definitely problem cards that could be addressed there, but with what they have now, basing it on an effectiveness scale, it's extremely effective. Inzektor Hornet, Inzektor Dragonfly, Inzektor Gigamantis, those silly combos that you can do while plussing like crazy, you'd be remiss to sit there and say that the deck doesn't have a significant ability to do well in the meta, even if it's not tier 1. Wind-ups go up and down and around, but they were meta for a long time. They still have potential as a rogue deck. Soul Charge definitely offered a boost to them. I don't say that right now I would rank them in the top 3 tiers, but maybe some people would. Maybe some people are convinced that their wind-up decks are the best wind-up decks in the world. I don't know, and that's not what I'm here for. You take a look at some other cards too, like Utopia Ray, which is a cool card that saw some play in extra decks for a while just because of its ability to finish a game. You look at cards like Torbus, which did also see play for a while with Tour Guide, when, you know, to recycle stuff, and with Sangan being banned, it was definitely one of those cards that saw some consideration. Maybe it's not that great, but it's definitely not a horrible card. X Saber Invokers, he's playing Matt Alshay. It's part of the reason the deck is able to go off so well. Collect Merocan play it as well. It's a cool card with a lot of potential, and it's still a really good card right now. Like, you can make it with any 2 rank 3s. It does really well. So it's a good card. And as I said, Zenmayo, which we already talked about in the history section, is a rank 5 that lets you pop 2 cards. You can trigger your own artifacts with it. You can pop your opponent's cards. You can make all sorts of cool combos. Card still sees play. There's a reason it's gone up in price. So it's definitely an effective card in the meta right now. Xyz Reborn as well is a trap that obviously I don't think is seeing too much play right now, but it's still a good card, and you could still play it in something, I guess, if you wanted to splash it with the hope of doing something effective. Evals are a deck that I find cool, but unfortunately they haven't done too much meta-wise. So, I mean, really just kind of looking at it from that perspective and wrapping it all up, I think 3 out of 5 is probably the best way to go. I mean, you can't ignore the impact that Inzectors had, you can't ignore the impact that Windups had, and Metalshay now are still really good, and Invoker is a significant part of the reason that that deck is what it is. So I think the best way to look at it is probably to do a 3.5 out of 5. And that's because I want to put them at a 4, but there's some cards that are just kind of weighed down, some cards that don't do quite as much. And that's still the highest I've given to anything meta-wise. So, I mean, when you add that up and you take 4 and you add 2.5 to it, and then you add 3.5, you get 10 out of 15. Then you do go ahead and do that math right now because I'm unprepared. 10 out of 15 is 66.6%, which rounds up to 67%, which means this pack is significantly better than every other pack that we've reviewed thus far, which I completely expected. Now, with the final grade of 67, which is definitely a D, I'd say a D+, actually, it's part of the reason that I want to change the review scale, because it's clear that the way that I'm evaluating these, as well as I'd like to think that they're accurate evaluations, they're all performing low. I think a pack like Order of Chaos should be performing higher. It should probably have a C or maybe a B grade. It had way too much of an impact to pretend that it wasn't that high level. I expect packs like Duelist Revolution and Starstrike Blast to do well as well. And that's why I think changing the system so that it's on a scale of 5 and there's 5 different categories to evaluate will give all of these packs a better opportunity to perform. So there will be some significant changes coming. With that being said, I'm already really far into this video, and I went a lot longer than I expected to, but I'm excited about what we have lying ahead. And as always, we're going to crack this pack open. This is an unlimited edition pack of Order of Chaos, and it would certainly be really cool and an awesome way to cap off this season if we could pull any kind of foil. And we got that one foil out of Shadow Specters, which was decent, but let's see what we can do. It'd be really cool if there was. We got Darklon, Shaolen the Prophet, Koala, Photon Circle, Inzector Dragonfly, Flame Armor Ninja, Counterforce, Familiar Possessed Dark, and Danapon. So no foil. I'm not too upset about it. There's a lot that we have coming in the future that I think is going to make this a lot better. Inzector Dragonfly is cool, and it's fitting that we pull that after the amount I talked about the deck as well. And so yeah, I mean, that's going to wrap this up, and again, I want to just thank you guys so much for the support that we've had throughout the season, and we're definitely going to be launching Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack and Review very soon, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, actually. There are some things we got to work out and some things we got to finalize, but I know as well that there is a plan to launch another Pack and Review series for, I believe, HeroClix. I think Benny's kind of tossing it and turning it, so people who are enjoying this format may enjoy it for something else as well. And we have, as I said, Season 2, I can promise all of you Duelist Revolution in Season 2. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I can promise you that within the 8-episode format of Season 2, you will see a review for Duelist Revolution. You will also see a review for Dragons of Legend, which is a set that I wanted to do this season, but just didn't have the room to fit it in. So, Duelist Revolution and Dragons of Legend are guaranteed for Season 2. I'm just not 100% sure when. So, and again, if you guys want to go ahead and leave some comments too, tell me what packs you might like to see, what packs you think, you know, if you disagree with the way some of these things were graded, and again, any suggestions you have for updated rating systems and stuff would be greatly appreciated. And on behalf of all of us here at Loveshack TCG, I am signing off for the final episode of Pack and Review and the of the first season anyway. And I will see you guys at the beginning of Season 2 relatively soon. Thank you.